Gaffer, a bit of a different feeling to recent weeks. How pleased you with the win?
Yeah, I just think that's the most important thing today is the victory. We've certainly, most definitely played better in recent weeks and not come away with victory, and maybe lost some games when we played better. But the boys showed a different side to themselves today, resilient, hard working, dealing with all sorts of physical duels, headers, second balls. It wasn't pretty at times, but the main thing was that they stuck together, got through it, and then obviously the bit of quality in the 93rd minute was for Mini to finish it. I think they deserved it just by the way they worked for each other for the whole 90 minutes.
How did you assess your team's performance?
I think after last weekend's result, I didn't come out and say it. It doesn't mean how I was feeling about it. Just because I don't come out and hammer my players doesn't mean I wasn't really disappointed with last weekend. Of course I was. The players knew that. They were disappointed themselves, but there had to be a reaction to that. There had to be when an event happens and you have to react to it, and then there has to be an outcome to it. So it's been a horrible, tough week. I'm not going to lie. Probably one of the worst weeks as a manager, enjoyable wise, in terms of being around the group the way I've had to be. But I don't care right now because they've won, and that's all I want from them. I want them to do better. I want them to win. I want to see the crowd getting behind them like we did today, seeing their endeavour. I know they probably would have thought at times it wasn't pretty, but I think they see the boys were giving it their all for each other. And then obviously the smiling face and how happy everyone was at the end of the game. Forget myself, the players and the staff, how hard they've all worked all week. They really deserved that.
You brought 3 big players back into a starting 11, Tom Eastman, Sam Ling and Elliot Johnson. How do you think they done after, quite a while out?
Yeah, look, I spoke to you guys about it, but I was, for probably the last how many weeks, I'm going, right, Tom Eastman and Jono will be back for this game. So I was thinking, right, we're going to be back to really strong, and then you lose Ryan Hill and Tavares. They've probably been two of our standout players this season. So, we haven't, truthfully, I don't feel like we've been able to play which would be our strongest team the whole season, and that's not making an excuse about it. I think that's just a fact. But the way how hard each other was working, the boys that are coming in, taking their chances, but to have them 3 boys back out, you know exactly what you're going to get from Eastie in the middle of the defence. As well with Jono at left back, it was a tough call today between him and Pagey. Really tough call for me because I think Pagey, going forward, the deliveries he can put in, all the stuff he can, I felt it was going to be quite direct and a lot of, duels and headers and stuff like that. I think Jono's really good at that. And look, Lingy plays everywhere, doesn't he? He disappointed himself when he got sent off at Aldershot, but come back into the midfield, and he was really struggling at the end of the game with the impact injury he took early in the game, but managed to do that for 70 odd minutes in the centre of midfield, and then went to left back and was as steady and as reliable as ever there as well. So look, 3 massive players for us.
Wesley to come back as well, is nice to see him back on the pitch, wasn't it? Yeah,
and had people behind me shouting, "Get Weston on!" Listen, I could only play him for half hour. That's all I could get him out there for. Look, we missed him as well. Of course we have. He's a big, not only a player for the football club, but I think a big personality. The boys, the younger ones, look up to him. He's got the respect of all the group. And the fact he got injured, not with us, and away when he was on national duty, and we haven't been able to use him since then, has been a real blow for all of us. Because I think the last game that he played, he was walking in through there. I remember seeing it in your video celebrating when we beat Fylde. And he's not been available since then. No fault of his own. He got injured away, and we've had to nurse him back. And we don't always come out and talk about the injuries because sometimes things change within them. I was hoping that Tavs would be back for today, but when they have scans done and they have little things within it, you find out that they're out for longer. Same with Hilly, but we're hoping they're back in 2 or 3 weeks. We hope. Obviously, it has to be with their recoveries. But same with Westy. I was hoping he was going to be back soon, and I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he said, I can try and do half hour for you, Gaffer. I was like, well, that could be enough, and it was today.
Finally, it's a massive result and a massive boost to the squad ahead of Tuesday night, isn't it?
Yeah, because Tuesday's going to be, the same. You've got to stand up to the physical threats and the players that Bourne would have. There's going to be some boys coming back here wanting to do well, obviously, against us as well. So that's going to be a real tough challenge. Every single game I have against Luke Garrard's teams are really, really tough. He's probably one of the better managers, probably one of the best at this level, and his teams are always really tough to play against. And I think that as well today. Woking were in the playoffs last year. I think I see before, I probably shouldn't have seen it before today, but there's one winning 10 Dagenham team against Woking. Beat us home and away last year because of how physical and how demanding they put it on you. If you don't stand up to it as a group, collective, and that was every single person who was on the pitch today, you lose. And we're going to have to be very similar again on Tuesday night. So, look, I want to enjoy the victory, because obviously the boys deserve it, and then the fans as well for sticking with us as well. They've been, after last weekend, I completely understood their disappointment. I know all of us did, and the disappointment probably felt all around the football club. Whenever we lose a game of football, especially an FA Cup game, it affects everyone. It affects the money coming into the football club, it affects the commercial side of it, but most importantly, it affects the fans because they want a good run for the team. So although I didn't come out and say, I've been fully aware of the impact of last week's result, and I need a response from the boys, and they did that. They did that, not for me, for themselves and the football club, which is the most important thing we need to see.